I'm Anil Kumar. I'll discuss factoring technique in this particular video. We have an example. We need to factor a square times x minus y plus a times y minus x. Now I've seen many times students get confused when we kind of mix up the terms. The order is changed. So I'll show you two different ways of factoring this. A shortcut or an easy way is the first method which I'm taking. So I'll say method 1. Method 1 for me is the preferred way of solving such equations. So the equation given to us is a squared times x minus y plus a times y minus x. That is the equation given to us. So the first term is a squared times x minus y. It's a good idea to write this also as x minus y, right? So what we can do is we can take minus 1 as a common factor. So it could be written as minus a times x minus y, correct? So if you expand, you get the same thing. Do you understand? So this is how you should rearrange at this stage and then move on. So this step sometimes is tricky for some students to understand, and that's the reason why I'll do two methods and then we'll come back to this. Now you can see x minus y is a common factor. Also a is also common, don't miss that. And then we have a left from this side and minus 1 since we took both of them, correct? So we have kind of factored this and it is a times x minus y times a minus 1, right? So that is the method which we prefer to use. Well, at times what you can do is you can adopt the second method also. Now, second method in questions like this is not that, cumbersome, but this method is more efficient. Here, you may not appreciate that level of difficulty, but anyway, sometimes applying this method becomes very difficult. Okay, so we'll begin with copying the same equation, which is a squared times x minus y plus a times y minus x. So what you can do is you can first expand it. So when you expand, you get a squared times x minus a squared times y plus a times y minus a times x. Now you can bring the like terms together, which is a squared times x minus a times x. And here you have, it's better to write, okay, let's write a squared times y plus a times y. Now you can group factor these two. Ax is common, correct? So ax is common. You're left with a minus 1 plus here ay is common. So ay, you're left with a, sorry, there is a sign change here. Okay, this is plus, but this is minus. Okay, this is minus. So we have to take minus here. Okay, so ay minus. Since I took minus, this becomes negative. Okay, so negative 1. You should ensure that you get the same thing. If you're not getting, that means you made some mistake, correct? So the mistake which I made was, this was negative, so I should have placed negative, correct? Now since this is negative, I'm taking negative factor here. Now a minus 1 is a common factor. So you're left with ax minus ay. So keep on writing equal to signs. Now don't leave it at this stage. See, a is also a common factor. So we factor this out. So we get a times a minus 1 times x minus y. Clearly what you see here is that this is not a very efficient way of doing. You do get the correct result, right? But there are possibilities of making errors in between, just as we did, and there is a possibility of leaving the answer at this stage. This is not fully factored. So you can lose 0.5 marks there also, correct? This is a very straightforward method. Try to understand that y minus x can be written as minus of x minus y. So this is kind of a critical step as we move from there to this. If you understand this, factoring is going to become very simple for you. I'm Anil Kumar. I'd like you to go through this video once again, understand the correct way of factoring, and then move on with your questions. Thank you and all the best.